Good morning. I've been debating for the past less than 10 minutes on whether to start this at 3:33 or wait another hour and 11 minutes, and we're going to go with 3:33, which of course is 9, which is of course completion. Yes, I pay attention to numbers, although I also think that this information needs to be grounded on the earth, but it is being grounded anyway. Even though I'm doing completion 9, I'm also grounding it just by being here. The title is Banks and Corporations in Foreclosure. And this is what I wrote as a blurb. I know people that are still living in their house even after a foreclosure has taken place. This is very likely a widespread phenomenon. When Heather began filing the One People's Public Trust on July 4th, 2012, a process that continued through the end of last year, she was actually foreclosing on the banks and corporations that had stolen and misappropriated the people's inheritance. However, we the people are not yet conscious enough in general terms to be able to handle such a grand endowment. Therefore, those that have been occupying the foreclosed institutions remain therein. That's why it does not appear that anything has changed. But it has. In fact, nothing is as it was, and the powers that be really are the powers that were. They know it. It's we the people that need to wake up to our new reality. And we are awakening. I was sort of channeled into this message today. I've actually been up out of bed. What was it? I don't even think it was 1:30 yet when I actually got out of bed, but I woke up right around 1 o'clock. Now bear in mind that I laid down about 9:30, so I did get more sleep than I sometimes do, but still not 4 hours. In any case, yesterday I spent a good deal of time on legal research again and looking again at the One People's Public Trust, and also looking at some other things in my own case and in the case of a friend that I'm helping to save her house from foreclosure. And I'm trying to figure out how to use the One People's Public Trust in actual lawsuits that are before the court at the current time. And I do believe I'm being guided and shown how to do that. In any case, I also spent 2.5 hours listening to the Heather interview on American Kabuki, or however you say that. It's probably saying it wrong. But I wanted to hear it again a second time, to hear Heather talk about working with the Rothschilds and that some of the Rothschilds are actually wanting this foreclosure on the banks, even though they've been in the driver's seat of the banks for such a long time. And the sense that I'm getting overall as I ponder these things and as I regurgitate them, bring them back up again and again, the sense that I'm getting is that there's so much going on that is not widespread information. It just isn't. Because as I said in the blurb, most people aren't ready for the inheritance to come to them. We have a bequest. We have a gift that's coming to us, but if we were given the gift before we're ready, we'd do just what most people do when they win the lottery. We'd squander it. It would destroy our lives because we're simply not conscious enough to handle how much we're really worth. We think of ourselves as paupers. We think of ourselves as needy and impoverished and victims. And a person with a victim mentality cannot handle wealth and just can't. You don't have the responsibility yet to take care of yourself as a wealthy person. You have to rise up to a level where you no longer see yourself as a victim, where you no longer see yourself as needy. Now, the lady that I had invited to hear me the night before last at hear the buskers play down at the Kilted Mermaid in Vero, she called me yesterday, and she had a situation come up that threw her into a state of panic over money. And the one that did show up, she shared with me, as I think I mentioned yesterday, her panic over money. And there are a whole lot of people on this planet that are panicked over the money situation because you still see yourself as impoverished, as a victim. And you're acting out of fear. You're reacting out of fear. Because you don't realize the import of what Heather did, of what the goddess energy has done on this planet as a lawful foundation for where we're going as a human family. We don't understand it. Most people still don't get it. And so those that have occupied the house, however unlawfully they did it, are still there, in place, and still making a lot of noise and much ado about nothing, because we need to wake up. The people need to wake up. The banks and the corporations. And what are the corporations? The corporations are our governments. They have been incorporated. They are privately owned by international bankers. That's the reality. The Vatican is a bank. Washington, D.C. is a bank. The City of London is a bank. These 3 city-states are banks that run the entire financial system of the world. But that financial system has been foreclosed upon. They have received their eviction notice, and it just hasn't been implemented yet. No one has enforced the foreclosure, although individual people, I do believe, including myself, are going to be able to implement that foreclosure in our personal lives, because we have developed a level of consciousness that allows us to see the reality of that. Most cannot see that as real yet, because you can't see what you're not prepared to see. I'm starting to get it. And that's why I've been led personally, step by step by step through this process, because I could not have handled it all at the beginning. It was too incomprehensible to me in the mindset that I was in at the time. So I had to be gradually led into it, day by day, step by step, over a period of time. And it had to be a process of awakening, a process of learning to see with new eyes. Because when I first began to see, I still wasn't seeing clearly. I could see, but I wasn't seeing clearly. And the ego, when we're not mature enough in our ego development, the ego wants to think that whatever our latest revelation is, that's it. Oh, I finally got there. I finally made it. But that's not how it works. I haven't arrived yet. And when I stopped thinking of myself as each time I get a new revelation, oh wow, I've arrived. Well, you've arrived to that step, but there's still some steps you got to take. And I have a feeling that that's true always. There's always greater expansion. As we talked last night in Steve's group, many of us see this evolution thing as sort of a ladder where we go up to the next rung. And when we get to that rung, or that landing on that step, we think, wow, I finally made it. But these are all circles within circles, concentric circles, and every larger circle that we go to, the step is just one piece of the circle. When you look at it, when you put a frame on it, it looks like a ladder. But you take the frame away and it's actually a circle that goes all the way around. And your levels of consciousness, every beginning stage level, every lower level of consciousness is contained within the higher levels of consciousness, so that we become godlike in our awareness. We keep expanding and understanding more and more and more and getting the big picture. And that's why identification is so important. We identify when we expand and get to a certain level. We begin to identify with everyone that's in levels below us, and we can even reach a point where we start to get gleanings of the levels that we haven't yet reached. So we know there's more. We know there's more. When we reach that certain level, when we look back and we say, wow, I thought when I got there, I thought that was it. And then I got to that, oh, I thought that one was it too. And you reach a level where you now you say, oh, there's levels above me too. Oh, I still have more to go. And that's what's happening on our planet right now. We're moving into these levels, and love is taking the frame away from what we thought was a ladder, knocking out the sideboards, and recognizing that it's circles, concentric circles, and actually spirals. It's spiraling. The spiral keeps getting bigger and bigger as we keep expanding and becoming aware of more and more and more. Many of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you haven't quite gotten there yet, but you're on your way. And as I say that, something inside says, yeah, I am. I really am on my way. I'm really starting to get it. I'm really starting to see. And we wonder, well, Drake promised us that on July the 4th, everything was going to be changed. We didn't connect Heather's One People's Public Trust to that event, but that did change everything. That was the volley, the first volley that actually started to serve notice on the banks and the corporations that they were out of line, and the people were getting ready to take back their inheritance and to receive the benefits of the trust that the banks and the corporations were the trustees of. They are trustees, and they are holding that for the beneficiaries. The trustee always holds for the beneficiaries that which is in the trust. And the One People's Trust is the inheritance of sovereignty to the individual. But the individuals, we the people, have to wake up and be able to handle that sovereignty, because it takes accountability, it takes responsibility, it takes a larger awareness than me, and mine. We are interconnected, and until we see that we're interconnected with all of life and that everything we do has repercussions and ripple effects that go out and affect other people and touch other people's lives, and we are responsible for how those effects land on other people, especially when we're in a service to self mentality of it's just about greed. It's just about getting more and more and more and more for me, and I don't care who I hurt on my way to gaining this stuff. That's the paradigm we've been in. That's the old world order, and it's already been foreclosed upon. It's already collapsed, but we haven't been able, most of us, to move into the benefit of actually receiving our inheritance. And so we still play with the old energies, but our circle is expanding. We're getting a greater awareness of the bigger picture. more and more and more. And this is preparing us for the world of peace that lies ahead, for the world of prosperity that is ours by birthright. We're moving into that. I want you to get and understand, even if you're not quite there yet and grasping it, I want you to know that the corporations and the banks and all the fraudulent culture that we've known for a long time has been foreclosed upon. And the only thing that's keeping anyone from receiving their inheritance is their own consciousness. It's all a matter of what are you ready to receive. Because the universe wants to give it all to us. God, the prime creator, wants to give it all to each of us as soon as we're ready to receive it. I leave you with these thoughts, and I thank you once again, as always, for listening. Namaste. In Lakesh.